What if Dranosh, the son to Varok, had survived the events of the Wrathgate instead of having been slain by the Lich King? What would have changed? What would be different? Yo guys, and welcome back to another What If World of Warcraft lore video where we go over events in Warcraft's history and change it or alter them to see how it would play out if things occurred differently. In today's video, we will ask the question, what if Dranosh Saurfang had survived the Wrathgate? Standing before the northrend counteroffensive now was the Lich King, and behind him, an army of undead. As corpses were risen and soldiers drew their swords, High Lord Bolvar Fordragon exchanged words with the Lich King, called him a coward and a traitor. During this time, Dranosh would feel an ever-growing desire to charge at the Lord of Undeath, to strike him down with one swing of his axe and to claim victory right then and there. But he did not. Instead of charging in, he stood his ground and listened to both Bolvar and the Lich King speak. I will show you the true meaning of fear. But before swords clashed and shields were broken, death-curdling cries echoed from behind the Horde and the Alliance ranks. From a cliff, Putress appeared, forsaken catapults and undead apothecaries wielding flasks containing green liquids lined up beside him. For a time, all eyes were set on the apothecary, even the Lich King focused his attention on him. And with a swift command, canisters containing toxins were hurled through the air, landing on the Horde and the Alliance, killing thousands. Dranosh, whether it be by luck or swiftness, managed to make his way to the edge of the toxin, but as he looked back, he saw the Lich King retreating back through the gate, and Bolvar on his knees struggling to look back at Fordragon Hold. To run back in there and attempt to carry him out would be suicide, and with grief gripping his voice, Dranosh would usher one final whisper acknowledging the High Lord's sacrifice, Loktar Ogar, and with that, Saurfang would turn and retreat from the battlefield. Fast forwarding time now, the northrend counteroffensive spearheaded by Tirion Fordring managed to breach the gates of Icecrown Citadel itself, and with the help of champions from both the Horde and the Alliance, the Lich King was dethroned. However, what many people did not know who were not present in Northrend and within Icecrown Citadel itself for the matter, was that the Lich King was not dead. There must always be a Lich King. And with that, Bolvar took the crown and devoted himself to the duty of keeping a constant vigil over the dead. Dranosh would know this. Alongside his father, he would be in Icecrown Citadel, but instead of fighting against us, he would be fighting with us, since the Scourge would have never been able to raise him into undeath. Dranosh would look now at the frozen throne, see how a human, someone so different from him, would be willing to give up so much for not only the Alliance, but the Horde as well. It would be something that the young orc would remember. Time passes once more, and Garrosh, Dranosh, and the Corcoran are met with Cairne Bloodhoof in order to be escorted home to Orgrimmar, leaving a skeleton crew led by Dranosh Saurfang to keep watch over Northrend. As they prepared their departure, both son and father bade their farewells, and Varok told his son, remember, honor. No matter how dire the battle, never forsake it. And with that, they were off to return once more to Orgrimmar. However, on the way back home, a terrible storm met them, almost flipping their ship and sending Horde crew members into the sea. Once the storm passed, however, and the skies cleared, they would see an Alliance ship in their waters. Horde waters. Garrosh quickly drew his axes. They are in violation of our treaty, Cairne countered. Garrosh, we are not in any condition to be mounting an attack, nor do they seem interested in us. Have you considered that the storm that so damaged us could have possibly thrown them off course as well? That they are not here to attack but are here by accident? The winds of fate then. It is time to show Varian how highly I regard him. Dranosh, remembering his father's parting words, would then step in front of Garrosh. So close, as a matter of fact, that it would be considered hostile. I will not let you attack those who we fought alongside in Northrend, those who have given as much as we, and those who mean us no harm now. Garrosh would stare at the other orc, steadily, without once blinking. He would never consider to attack him, but that doesn't mean he was happy with hearing what Cairne and Dranosh had to say to him. Very well. Because you too are a hero, and have faced the hardships I have, I will respect your judgment. With that, Garrosh would sheath his weapons, walk away from the other orc, leaving Dranosh and Cairne to look upon each other. Cairne gazing upon him with approval and respect. You are truly the son to Varok. Weeks passed, the soldiers of Northrend are resting at home, when one night, fires began to blaze across Orgrimmar. Even Thrall and his most powerful shaman have trouble communing with the elements, which gives him great concern. Despite this though, the fires are put out, but not after many buildings and inns had been burned to the ground. Still troubled by why he had so much trouble communicating with the elements and why the elements in general felt out of balance, Thrall decided that he would have to give up the position to war chief to another. He would consider Cairne, seeing as to how he is both bold and wise, but he would also think that the people of the Horde, especially the younger ones, may not recognize this and see that Cairne is too old-fashioned to do what needs to be done. Also, there would be much doubt among the Horde. If the Grin Totem Tauren were not satisfied with him being their leader, then there surely would be unrest throughout the Horde entirely. Right now, at this moment, the war chief needed to be an orc. An orc who knows wisdom, has seen combat, and the people love. And that choice would be Dranosh Saurfang. Dranosh was youthful, charismatic, wiser beyond his years, and had inherited many of his father's traits. He was the best choice that Thrall could possibly make. And so, the two met. Thrall would say, "You have faced and cheated death. You have done much for this horde, more than many who were present here from the beginning. Know that I would never leave without appointing someone able to take care of it." "You are making me war chief?" Dranosh asked. "I know of battles, of tactics, of how to rally troops, but politics and ruling, I know nothing of." "No? You were not there fighting alongside the Alliance at the Wrathgate? Did you not set aside your differences in order to unify an army against the Scourge?" Dranosh would not respond, still unsure. "You are more ready than you would like to believe. Your father has made sure of that, and feel confident in the fact that you will have personal advisors to aid you. Eitric and Cairne, both who have shared their wisdom with me throughout the years, will guide you as they did me. Politics can be learned, but your obvious love for the Horde and its outlook in the world, that is something that is more important." Dranosh would now look up, a spark of confidence in his eyes. "Then by your hand, war chief. If you deem me worthy, then know this. I shall do all that I can to bring honor to the Horde." Thrall would smile, and a new war chief would have been named. Thrall would then depart from Orgrimmar to Nagrand to heed the call of the elements, and Cairne would be proud, seeing how Thrall could have not chosen a better leader for his people. Now with Dranosh the named war chief, many things would be different. Orgrimmar would not look like it is today because Garrosh would not have made the call in rebuilding the city. It would be Dranosh. Instead of looking like structures of the old orc culture, it would be a mix between the old and the new. Strong enough to where it wouldn't be easily infiltrated by invaders, but maintaining Orgrimmar's old theme so that it would remind their people of how far they had come from Draenor. Also, the outlook on the Horde itself would be much better with Dranosh as leader. During this time, an investigation was going on with a case where many Night Elf Sentinels were mutilated and skinned alive in Ashenvale. This enraged the Alliance as they called out for justice, and with Garrosh as war chief, it just made it seem worse since he was known to openly attack the Alliance whenever he could. With Dranosh, however, the Alliance would be more restrained, more patient. They would see that a new honorable war chief would have taken the mantle, and things would have not gotten too heated compared to as if Garrosh was leader. Now, the reason why they believed that the Horde was responsible for the killings was because the Night Elves in Ashenvale had cut off trade routes with the Horde, leading to many men, women, and children of the Horde to starve and go thirsty. Both sides believed that angry Horde citizens may have killed the Sentinels to make a point. The truth of the matter was that the Twilight's Hammer was behind the attack, trying to spur crap on between the Horde and the Alliance. Now let's go ahead and get back into the story. Dranosh is keeping his people in line, and tensions with the Alliance is simmering down. However, there was still the issue with the trade routes. With Cairne and Dranosh's immediate approval, Hamul Rune Totem and several peaceful druids were dispatched to Ashenvale to discuss the issue of trading. When they began the negotiations, however, they would be ambushed by a group of orcs, all of them killed, but Hamul Rune Totem. Hamul would make his way back to Cairne, inform him of the treachery of the orcs, and Cairne would immediately travel to Orgrimmar to meet Dranosh. However, he would not accuse Dranosh for such obscene acts. He would accuse Garrosh. Dranosh would listen, angered and mortified of what the Tauren informed him, but not exactly 100% sure that Garrosh was to blame. Nevertheless, he called in Hellscream to be interrogated, but Garrosh would continue saying that he was not behind any attack. All the while, Cairne would label him as a liar, insult him, and shame his honor, and as the two were about to come to blows, Garrosh would then ask if Cairne was challenging him. But before Cairne would issue the Mak'gora, Dranosh would step forward and state that he is the new acting war chief and will voice action to his people's concerns. This belief would overcome both Cairne and Garrosh, but Cairne would hold his tongue, allowing Dranosh to lead his people, and Garrosh would quickly regain his composure. The Mak'gora has been weakened since Thrall's decree, watered down. You want to fight me? Then truly fight me, the way it once was, with all of the old rules, all of them. To the death then, Dranosh replied. To the death, in the arena. 1 hour, Dranosh said. And Garrosh would turn to leave, leaving only Cairne and Dranosh in the room. Cairne would look concerned, asking Dranosh if this truly was what he wanted to follow through with, and the orc would have responded by saying that the leader would have acted on his people's behalf. Thrall would have acted on his people's behalf. At this, Cairne would smile, both a sad and proud smile. Proud that such a warrior was leading the horde. Sad that this warrior could lay dead in the arena an hour later. But as both were about to leave to make preparations, Thura, the cousin to Dranosh, would come into the room. Shocked but glad to see her one last time, Dranosh would ask her why she was here. She would respond by saying that like the shamans who saw a vision to give her the axe of Cenarius, she too saw a vision to give him the axe of Cenarius. For this axe, once wielded by their uncle Broxigar during the War of the Ancients, held a special connection to the Saurfang bloodline. Dranosh would greatly accept the gift, and within an hour both he and Garrosh would be in the arena. Both opponents stripped of armor, Garrosh with Gorehowl, Dranosh with the axe of Cenarius, and each weapon blessed with the shaman enchantment. Now since Garrosh is fighting Dranosh and not Cairne, Magatha would not have blessed this weapon. She had no reason to. Since Cairne wasn't fighting, there was no possibility of him being dead, so there would be no coup, meaning no poison. This was a clean fight. Both orcs charged forward, axe meeting axe, two of the best soldiers that the horde had to offer clashing with one another. Both young, both in perfect fighting condition. But eventually, Dranosh would gain the upper hand. Throughout his campaign in Northrend, he wielded a two-handed axe, slaying hordes of undead and perfecting his fighting form. This experience, paired with the connection he had with the Axe of Cenarius, a weapon forged under the direction of a demigod and used by his uncle to inflict a wound on Sargeras himself, would make him a dangerous foe. Garrosh, on the other hand, although he is one of the greatest warriors the horde has to offer, would have just recently switched from using two one-handed axes to wielding Gorehowl, which doesn't give him a lot of time to perfect his fighting form. Now, you could say that Dranosh just received this axe like an hour ago as well, but look at the history behind the weapon and its connection to the Saurfangs. Under Thura, the axe was used to cut down many shadow manifestations in the realm of the nightmare itself. In Broxigar's hands, he too had little time to familiarize himself with the weapon, but regardless of that, he was still able to cut down thousands of demons inside the realm of the Burning Legion. I'm pretty sure that like Thura and Broxigar, Dranosh would be able to deal a huge amount of damage if the weapon was in his possession. Dranosh would break through Garrosh's defenses, incapacitating him, but as Garrosh waited for the final blow, it would not come. Honor. No matter how dire the battle, never forsake it. These words rang in the war chief's mind. There was no honor in depriving the horde of a possibly innocent warrior. After all, he was not convinced as much as Cairne that Garrosh was behind the attack on the druids. Garrosh waited for the axe to bite into his neck, but what actually came was the last thing that he would have expected. Dranosh extended a hand, helped the warrior onto his feet, and told Garrosh that for now, he would be stripped of all rank and power he held within the horde. The investigation would go underway, and until he was proven innocent or guilty, he would live the life of a citizen. Garrosh, stripped of all of his honor, and in his mind he would have preferred death, but nevertheless kept his mouth silent, thus ending the Mak'gora. Alright guys, so a few things I just want to clarify before this video ends. Most of the events, including the fire in Orgrimmar, the storm at sea, the alliance boat that Garrosh attacked, these were all actual events that occurred in our timeline. I did not make these up. I only included the fact that Dranosh was alive so that I could put a spin on it, so don't think that I just randomly placed these ideas onto the video from my ass. Second of all, the axe of Cenarius making its way to Dranosh. This axe has been to hell and back. It was forged under the direction of Cenarius himself and used by Brox to inflict a wound into Sargeras. It was then placed in Thura's hands because one of Thrall's most trusted shamans saw a vision that it would go to her. But it has been stated that if Dranosh was still alive, that it most likely could have gone to him. In her hands, she and the axe made their way to the realm of the Emerald Nightmare and freed Malfurion from imprisonment. To say that she would have a vision or feel a strange calling that Dranosh would need the axe on the day of the Mak'gora would definitely not be a long shot. The axe clearly has a connection to the Saurfang bloodline. And that is it to this video, guys. Garrosh is alive, Dranosh is war chief, Cairne is still alive, meaning that Angrathar and the Grim Totem would need to devise another plan to overthrow their Tauren chieftain. I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. It took a long while to make, a very long while, but I'm not going to lie, it was pretty damn fun making it. So keep an eye out for future what if videos. Once again guys, peace out, take care, and as always, have a good one.